was an open deck. It was cloudy. It was a Sunday morning, about 8:50 in the morning-ish, about 92 degrees and about 78% humidity, so it was not very comfortable on this deck. 2 minutes after 9, there's a door that opens up on the inside of the white skirting up over there, and that would be the Admiral's quarters. And the first man that comes out is 5-star Army General Douglas MacArthur, the Supreme Allied Commander of Pacific Theater Forces. Behind General MacArthur is 5-star Navy Admiral Chester William Nimitz, known as CINCPAC, Commander-in-Chief Pacific, Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz. And behind Admiral Nimitz is 4-star Admiral William F. Halsey. Halsey is the Admiral of the battleship Missouri. The man came down that ladder and walked right into the front area right near the microphone facing the Japanese. The senior chaplain went to that microphone and opened up in a brief benediction, and General MacArthur went to the microphone and spoke to the world. Those of you that have the ship's brochure, on the back of the brochure on the white page at the bottom, you'll find the ship's website. You can actually see the surrender ceremony from your own home computers. MacArthur would give his speech and step back and signal the Japanese. The Japanese would send 2 representatives who were authorized to sign the documents right where that gentleman is standing. The first one was their foreign minister. His name was Mamoru Shigemitsu. He represented the Emperor, Emperor Hirohito. His responsibility was to surrender the Japanese government. The second signer was General Yoshijiro Umezu. Mr. Umezu was the command general in the imperial headquarters in Tokyo. Came from a long line of samurai, and samurai flat out do not surrender. They live by the warrior code of Bushido, which is death before dishonor, death before surrender. So the emperor orders him to surrender himself and all of the Japanese armed forces worldwide. So it was a pretty heavy decision for this gentleman to do. Signature goes on the documents and they step back. It's game over for them. They'll be spectators from here on out. MacArthur will go forward to where the lady just came back up from taking her photo. He'll sit at the table. There will be 6 pens for him to sign the documents. 5 pens on the table, 1 in his pocket. MacArthur is joined by 2 repatriated prisoners of war. Step out of the captain's cabin and stand behind and to the left of MacArthur. The general will take the first 2 pens from the table and sign the name Douglas with them and pass those 2 pens to those 2 men. Both were under his command, and both were captured in 1942 in 2 different areas. Lieutenant General Jonathan M. Skinny Wainwright was captured on the island fortress of Corregidor in the Philippines, 1942, with over 142,000 individuals. Lieutenant General Arthur Percival, known as the Lion of Singapore, was captured at Fortress Singapore, 1942, also with about 130,000 of our allies. Both men were brought to this ship under MacArthur's urging, and they had just come from their prisoner war camps up in Shenyang, China, near Beijing. They'd spent 3.5 years there, so they weren't in very good shape. Wainwright was 6'2" and weighed 99 pounds. And Percival was 6'1" and weighed about 94 pounds. The first 2 pens went to them. The 3rd pen to the National Archives in College Park, Maryland, where the original American document could be found. 4th pen to West Point, MacArthur's alma mater. 5th pen would go to Lieutenant General Richard Sutherland, MacArthur's aide. And the 6th pen was a Parker dual-fold fountain pen that MacArthur had in his pocket. He acquired that from his wife Jean at the beginning of the war in the Philippines. She said, "I want you to use this pen to do all your important paperwork with, but I also do not want you to forget to write letters home to me." So that was her main reason for giving him the pen. He signed the Arthur portion of the MacArthur name with that pen and took it back home to Mrs. MacArthur at the end of the war as a war prize. She was 103.5 years old when they buried her.